Welcome back to d.D.c, your one-stop shop to enhance your barbecue and cooking experience. Follow along. Alright, so here we have it. 12-pound choice grade brisket. Anybody wants to get on the brisket train? I want to take out a notebook because I'm going to give you the bare bones, easiest way to cook brisket for beginners. And while I'm trimming up this beast and seasoning it, I'm going to go through a rant. Stick with us. Alright, so for all us beginners out here, brisket is pretty much composed of two main parts, two main muscle groups. We've got a point and a flat. The flat's always going to be that thinner end. Point's going to be that big, beautiful end right there. These muscles actually end up overlapping. Okay, makes for different grains. The point tends to be a lot fattier. As long as you keep that in mind with trimming, you can't go wrong. I tend to try to find a brisket that is nice and thick on the flat part, so it kind of measures out to be, somewhat even. I'm okay with the point being pretty big too, but I want the flat to be thicker so I have a lot less waste. Now, a couple weeks ago, I was listening to a YouTube clip, and the fellow that was on it, he's very reputable, probably got about 500,000 followers, so I'm not here to critique him or bash him. He was utilizing what I would refer to as an easy bake oven, also known as a pellet stove, which I have no gripes with. He had explained that he wasn't overly fond of using offsets, and I mean, I get it, they're not for everybody. His complaint with it was that they can, for a quality one, they can get pretty expensive. He's not wrong. Quality one's probably going to work better than an economic one. I mean, I personally have an economical one. I think it only costs about $600. It's a Char Griller Grand Champ XD 1200. Not sponsored by them, nor am I sponsored on the platform that we're going to cook this on. Like I said, the guy had his good points. Hey, listen, the smoker that he was using was about $1,800 to $2,300, depending on where you get it from. If that is within your range and you're looking for a set it and forget it that creates a quality product, all the power to you. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to kick the design or the idea. Did make it sound like an offset cooker could be quite difficult, which I'm sure they can be challenging if you overthink it or if you struggle with controlling your heat. So what I've decided to do with this 12-pound brisket, after I'm done drying it and trim it, is instead of shooting it on my offset, a cheap economical one, I'm going to shoot it on something that would be a little bit more, maybe even a little bit more difficult. Just to show the world that, hey, it's definitely not as hard as some people make it out to seem. So, I'm going to shoot it on something that pretty much anybody can afford. And it's something I would highly recommend if you're first getting into barbecue and you're not sure, and you're trying to learn. I'm going to shoot it on a Weber kettle. Something that you guys could buy for, $30-40 on the marketplace. Or buy one brand new. It's a good, sturdy, solid platform. I swear by it. I've probably cooked more briskets on a Weber kettle than on my offset. And I've always gotten really, really, really good results. So, I am going to do it on that. We're going to keep this whole entire shoot basic today. I'm not going crazy with my seasonings. I'm not going crazy with the amount of time and effort that I put into the Weber. I already set it up for snake method, which I'll share some pictures here in a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy on anything. Yeah, little fireworks in the background. I'm not even going to go crazy on my trimming. This is all real time right here. I want you guys to see, for a potential beginner, somebody who's just starting out in the wonderful journey of barbecue, who's done what I used to do and still do, probably already binge watched 40 to 50 clips, and wants to get really good results. I'm telling you right now, I should have put a paper towel or something underneath this cutting board. I'm probably annoying everybody by it shifting around, but that's okay. Such is life. I'm just going to show you guys. Hey, it's super easy, man. You don't have to complicate this. Anybody can do this. Easy peasy. So on that note, I'm going to pause and put something on this cutting board before I make somebody motion sick. Alright, so anyways, yeah. I've cut off a little bit of this. Like I said, I think people overcomplicate brisket. There's a decent sized chunk of fat usually right here. Trim it off. Take off silver skin if you want. Flip it on around. Usually there's a decent sized pocket of fat right here too. Naturally, it's not there this time, so I'm not even going to worry about it. The fat on the back of it, that's within 1/4 of an inch. Figured that out when I scalped it right there and just redid my take because I probably said more swears than a sailor. Here we go. Salt, pepper, a little bit more. With the pepper I usually use a coarse. I get it straight from Costco. It's a Kirkland product. It's nice and coarse. Go 2 to 1 with the salt. I just use flaky kosher salt. Use whatever makes you happy with that. I'd be cautious about the quantity of herbs that you might put on it though, because you might have a burn off and that might make your brisket taste bitter. I put a grand total of 3 minutes into trimming this. Not to be a jerk about it, I just want to show you that, you know, it's not as delicate of a procedure as you may think, and it is a lot more resilient than you may think. If you're using an internal probe to keep an eye on your ambient temperature, don't worry about it if it swings a little bit here and there, okay? I usually try to run 250. If it ends up 275 for a little while, I don't care. If it ends up 300, I might start trying to back it off just a little bit, guys. Alright, there you go. Like I said, guys, it's not fucking rocket science, alright? Salt, pepper, throw in a little smoked paprika, a little garlic powder, completely coat the damn piece of meat, let it sit. You can refrigerate it overnight if you want to. You could put it right out on the smoker right now if you want to. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the kettle going right now. I'm going to slap that turd on there and then check on it every couple hours. Pretty much anybody who's ever eaten brisket at my house and gone, wow, I would kiss my grandmother, who's been dead for 20 years, for a bite of it again, can literally walk through their backyard and replicate it. So empower yourself, guys. Get your asses outside. Get your butts to the store. Buy some brisket. Make some memories. Make your parents happy. Make your wife and kid proud. Make your husband proud. And make some beautiful fucking brisket. Alright, welcome back, D-Team, also known as the Dyslexics. We're about 10 hours deep. We hit 198 degrees. The other thing that I occasionally gripe about doing the Weber kettle is I don't tend to get quite as dark of a crust, but you know what? She's still fantastic. She's going to go to sleep and rest for about 10 hours. I've only had to go outside 2 times. We'll make it 3 just to bring it inside. But I tell you what, that's a low maintenance, easy brisket, and a very, very, very stress-free brisket for a beginner. So by the time we bring you back, we'll be slicing it up, making some cuts, and seeing how we did. For a 3-minute trim, no fuss, no muss, easy brisket for a person who's been doing them for years, and a great starting point for a novice. Alright, guys, I'll come back. Alright, D-Team, here we go. The most uneventful brisket I've ever made. Put it outside at 10 o'clock at night. Brought it back in at about 6 o'clock in the morning. Let it do its rest. Only checked on it 3 times outside. Literally didn't have to do anything to it any of those 3 times. I did not spray it. I did not paper wrap it. I did foil boat it. And then I let it rest in the stove until 4:30. So it got a nice long rest. Let's get some slicing into it and see what we got. All right, people. Time for the moment of truth. She's got a nice bark. It's not as dark as, like I said, an offset, but, ooh. I'm still confident, though. Oh, yeah. You see that juice pouring out, and that's after a long, long rest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get a close-up on that. My goodness. So just because it was a boring cook doesn't make it a bad cook. So for all you newbies, first-timers, little turtlelings, this method right here is a great choice. It's not as convenient as an easy bake oven. Now, granted, if you can afford one, get one. You know, whatever. Do whatever floats your boat, guys. But look at the juices coming out of that. And like I said, that's after a long rest. This brisket's only 145 degrees right now. So it's not like I hot cut it and I'm going to lose all that wonderful juiciness. But for anybody who's new, it is a beautiful method to start off this journey. Now, we're going to get a little slice of this. No, I say little, that's a pretty long slice. It's a very wide brisket. Alright, so while I bring you guys on this badass barbecue adventure for beginners, I just want to remind you, as a parent, as a full-time night shift employee, as a husband, I don't always get a lot of time for these clips. So honestly, the more likes, subscribes, sharing, that's just pure encouragement. That fuels me. So hit the gas on that. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. It's got a beautiful smoke ring. Get a little piece of that flat. If the flat's good, the rest is going to be good. Still piping hot though. That's crazy. At 145. Tender, tender, tender. I might have took it a little bit too far, but I'm okay with that. It's still sliced nice. This isn't a competition brisket after all. Let's get one more slice so we can do the whole hang test. We'll see if we overcooked it. Yeah, we passed. We passed. Okay. You know, like I said though, it's not a competition brisket, guys. What it is going to be tender and flavorful and delicious in every way, shape, or form. Seasoned properly. You can get some of this into my metal tray to keep it from oxidizing. I like to use big words every now and again, even though it's not a real big word. Some tongs. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not feeding this to a bunch of friends, just family members, and believe it or not, they witnessed me wash my hands once or twice. That smoke ring is real nice. I actually got smoke ring on the fat side of it too. The fat rendered nicely, considering it was a 2-minute trim. Like, you guys literally witnessed that whole entire trim. Like I said, the idea of this cook was to empower any person that might have been a little bit hesitant to do this cut of meat. Show them that you could put minimum effort into it and still get the maximum yield. Now, like I said, it doesn't have as pretty of a bark as my offset, but it is not lacking the flavor. We used applewood on this one too, by the way, guys. I've taken a break from hickory for a little while. I'm starting to discover the wonders of applewood. A nice little burn in there. Look at that nice bark. Alright, dawned on me, I didn't do any little face first takes in the bite. When that fat's rendered the way it is right there, when you leave just enough, it's almost like that same crisp that you get on a perfectly fried piece of bacon, where you bite through, you hear that little crisp, and then it melts. It dissolves instantly in your mouth, and then you get hit with that seasoning that was super basic, guys. But I gotta tell you, people drive cross country to go down south to Texas barbecue joints, which I'm not gonna say this is any better than, but you know, let's say you can't go cross country, guys. You You can make this in your backyard. And especially you curious newbies, turtles. You know, hey, you guys need the push for something like this. It's not hard. Like I said, this cook was so basic it was actually kind of boring. But the end result's anything but boring. This is delicious. I'd probably make half this brisket disappear, and I probably will tonight. So on that note, thanks for coming to d.D.c. Can't wait to catch you on the next one. Next episode, we're doing an unboxing. We're gonna have a little fun. This one's geared to the budget people. Thanks for coming. Bye.